Call the Port of Siuslaw Commission meeting of Wednesday 18th, 2014 to order. And first of all, we have a presentation from Liz Von Revue from the Siuslaw Water Council.
Thank you. I'm gonna grab this. We'll see how this works from a distance. So,
You want a chair or you can sit?
do you want me to sit?
It doesn't matter.
What do they normally do?
You can sit.
Okay.
More comfortable.
I
Join
don't
the
know.
club.
I'm a prancer when I present,
Oh,
so this
chair
will be
has wheels.
interesting. Yeah,
got
I'll
wheels.
start wheeling
Yeah,
around.
yeah, we will.
So, and
Marlon,
hopefully
would
the
you move on
remote works
around?
from
Yeah,
here.
Yeah, okay, I'm just here to serve, you know.
Awesome.
Do we want to turn this more towards Callan?
Yeah, you can move it. It's,
It'll never work.
it'll give you some.
As long as the connection stays. Thank you. Well, thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate that you guys, since our, the foundation of the Watershed Council, that you continue to be involved by appointing, at one point, different members, but appointing people, including Sally, to be on the Watershed Council leadership body. And we appreciate that, and I'm here to just give you guys a brief overview of what we've done currently, what we've done, or what we've done recently, and some future and current projects as well. So, Siuslaw Watershed Council, one of the reasons why we're here is right here, because that's what we all end up wanting. We also want healthy watersheds, but among other things, are good fish to catch. And I think there's some things that are in common amongst many of our goals and mission, or our goals and purposes between the port and the council. But I'm going to talk today about the Watershed Council, our projects and programs, and then take questions. And that is Coho Fry right there, and then you guys know what that is, what life stage that is. So the Siuslaw Watershed Service Area takes in the Siuslaw Watershed and also Coastal Lakes watersheds to the north and south of the Siuslaw. So you can see we go all the way, we take in basically, we have Taconich down here, and then all the way up, including Berry Creek and a couple of other small creeks up there as well. And as you know, as is very familiar to those of you with the port and your area, we include our headwaters are up in Lorain and also in Horton. So it's a very large watershed, and actually compared to several other ones, we have a variety of ecoregions because the Lorain area is actually the Willamette Valley ecoregion. Sorry, I'm digressing into nerdiness here, but that's it's a unique watershed for sure.
Is the watershed slowly migrating eastward?
I would have to think about whether the watershed was slowly migrating eastward with coastal uplift.
I don't see
I'd
how
have
it
to think
can.
about it. I would think not, because you have the
It's the drainage, yeah.
Yeah.
It all has to do with water drainage is what it's based on, so.
Well, he's basing that on the ocean
Geologic.
rising and.
Yeah, the ocean, I mean, you do have uplift. I'd have to think about it more. But
Yeah.
as much as you have uplift, you also have pressure. Well,
Okay.
let me think about that.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Our mission is up here. I'm not going to read the mission to you guys. I'll let you read that. But just to let you know, we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We are recognized as an Oregon Watershed Council, as defined and recognized by the state of Oregon. And our mission, as you can see up there, and if you want to read our bylaws and all those other exciting things on our website, our mission includes working with diverse stakeholders for promoting watershed, or promoting and reaching watershed health, and that's working from a whole watershed perspective. So it's from the ridgeline up to the ocean. And again, I said diverse stakeholders, and everything is voluntary. There's nothing, we're not regulatory. We don't force anyone to do anything. We have no power that way. We are the carrot. That's what we are, and that's how we work. Like I said, that's our mission. And one thing about our mission statement is that we include economic, social, and environmental, or the values of natural resources and human resources. So it's a scope wider than just natural resource management. All right, our leadership body. As I said, we have diverse stakeholders. We have 27 leadership body positions. Those are the stakeholders that are represented in the interest groups throughout the watershed. So that includes everything from industrial timber to environmental groups, fishing, contractors, academic and scientific, small timber owners, state government, local government, tribes, the port, and also sub-basin representatives. So that means that we actually try to have representatives from throughout the entire watershed. So when you're looking at that area, we have representatives from Lorraine out through the the harbor here. All right. And thank you to those of you, there are a couple people who also have either been on or currently on our leadership board, so thank you to those, Nancy, and we appreciate it, and Terry wearing a different hat, not his hat here. Our board of directors, just a quick list of those folks there. Partnerships, I realize this is written very small, I don't expect you to be able to read it, but the point is that we also, our partners include people across, or organizations across the spectrum, and our funding sources are diverse as well. That's one of the things, especially as state and federal funding changes, it's really nice to have diverse funding sources. We've been recognized, the Sayula Watershed Council has been recognized locally, regionally, nationally, and internationally, or we've received local, regional, national, and international recognitions and awards. And many of you remember that we were one of the partners that received the Thies International River Prize, but also more recently we received national recognitions as well. The Sayula Watershed Council, as I said, we work both with natural resources, but also in terms of the economy and the community as well. And that's our tagline, is community, economy, and environment. Some of us don't necessarily like to say the E word of environment. Instead, we say natural resources. Depends who you talk to in the organization, or watershed health is another way to to say what we're accomplishing there. We work in education and outreach. We host approximately 10 meetings and forums that are informational throughout the year. Those include regional and national experts who come in and present. As Nancy was saying earlier, there's a lot that can be learned at those. It's topics anywhere from ONC lands, ocean issues often many years, and about different fish or wildlife that are found in the watershed as well. And when it comes to topics like ONC lands or marine reserves or anything like that, we have the full spectrum. We have people who are pro and against. Usually it's not pro and against, it's 5 different facets of the issue that represent from very, very pro to very, very against and everything in between. So we really are there for informational purposes, not to convince anyone of any one particular view on it. We have our monthly newsletters as well, or bi-monthly newsletters as well, and we have other outreach and training opportunities for adults. Then the thing that most people think is the most fun is we have education programs for youth, and the Port has actually been a partner on those for many years, up until this year, providing our Florence bus stop. This year we needed to move it back to the school district building. But in other ways, including this year, thank you, donating PFDs. There were a number of PFDs that were donated to our various youth programs, and we appreciate that. But in the camps, the kids explore everything from all aspects of natural resource management, recreation, and perform restoration themselves. There's no pictures of restoration there, but they moved mussels from a project site that we were working on last year. We were moving the stream channel, or they've also moved plants, taken out invasives, that kind of thing. Economy, we work in a number of aspects in terms of economic, sorry, trying to find my place here. In terms of building a healthy economy as well. We've had a variety of programs over the year, and one thing I wanted to say is Bob, and I can't remember who else from the Port participated in our strategic planning process, and we recognized or developed a number of ideas for economic development there, and those, in terms of our implementing our strategic plan, those are out a couple of years, but then we're going to start rolling on those. So those haven't been forgotten, people's participation in that. It's just, as many of you know, with the strategic plan, there are multiple stages of it, and when it's implemented, and that's where we're going to be with it. As you know, we have the Water Trail. That's something that the Port and the Watershed Council, a number of other entities have partnered on. It would be great to get another set of our newsletters, or not newsletters, the brochures out on that. I think all the brochures have been given out long ago by everywhere that had them, and so hopefully we'll be looking to print those again in the near future. Other things that we do economic-wise are work, all of our restoration work is, that's on private lands, is with working land, so people are still using it for, multiple purposes, farming, agriculture, or, ranching, farming, timber management. That's actually some real, obviously those are very small logs coming there. That was for a specific added value type of timber harvest. Our restoration work generates work for contractors as well. That's a culvert being placed in. And we have a crew that works on release and planting. And then we have monitoring programs, water quality monitoring throughout the entire watershed, and we work with surf riders and some volunteers out of the lakes to also do monitoring and to process their samples for them. We're part of one of many partners, including STEP and the Forest Service, which owns the trap, and a number of other folks, researchers and whatnot, and local students from both Mapleton and Sayusla schools who run the Knowles Creek Smoke Trap and collect the data from there. That is, I believe, the longest, or one of the longest, if not the longest running data set for smoke traps on the coast. So it's very important, and it teaches kids hands-on science. We also have a mussel survey crew that's been working on developing some baseline data on locations. That's working with BLM and private industrial timber, a number of other entities to get that data there. Primarily more upstream from here, but it's throughout the watershed. And then moving on to other restoration projects, many of you probably know about Waite Ranch. Right now, Waite Ranch looks more like this. We'd like it to look roughly, and this is roughly like that, with more sinuous channels. The restoration project for Waite Ranch is going to restore over 200 acres, restore tidal inundation to over 200 acres. That's gonna also, the project will have an over 1,000% increase in tidal channels. And tidal channels, what those equate to are fish habitat. If you like fish, you like catching fish, you like coho, you like Chinook, you like all those things, they spend some part of their life cycle in tidal channels. Right now, that's not really habitat right there. But if you get sinuous tidal channels, lots of little tidal channels in there, it'll be great habitat. And also tidal wetlands provide filters for estuaries. They're like the kidneys of estuaries. They buffer flooding and storm events, decrease the extremeness of the you know what I'm trying to say. And also increase resiliency in systems, among many things. From the project, we're looking at some long-term benefits to recreational commercial fishing from the increased habitat. Also a water trail attraction, and it's in the it's in the planning stages. There's a lot of, as you know, that project runs next to a substantial portion of Highway 126. When you run against half a mile of Highway 126 on one side of your project, you're gonna make really sure you plan it well and design it well, because we need to protect our neighbors, ODOT and others, and make sure that our restoration project benefits habitat and also does not have any sort of negative influence on the infrastructure. In fact, it may benefit the infrastructure depending on how the restoration project's done, in terms of a variety of aspects. And this is just showing some of the coring that goes on with the geotech analysis with that project. Other restoration projects include 5 Mile Bell, that's a Forest Service owned site, multiple partners on there. It's a whole basin restoration project from the uplands with some thinning. If those of you who are elk hunters, it creates some nice early seral habitat, some nice gaps there among other things, down to large wood in the streams, also remeandering the stream, and again increasing, you get more stream length when you start remeandering and putting it back how they used to be historically. And so that project's a multi-year, multi-partner project that we have going on as well. Upper North Fork Restoration Project, that included thinning, hazard tree removal from Forest Service stands, large wood placement on private and Forest Service property, plantings, and the decommissioning of a failing road that was one of the biggest sediment inputs in the North Fork, Sayusla, and that had large wood placement. Now, I just talked about some larger scale restoration projects. We have many, many projects that are much smaller scale. We have our native plant distribution, which is annual, happens every every year. Let's see if I can make this work right. It should if I tap on this. Oh, that didn't work. All right, we'll go to previous. There's supposed to be a little illustration there, or a cartoon, but we're gonna skip it. We have our, like I said, our native plant distribution. Every year we give away anywhere between 8 to 15,000 native riparian plants, riparian being streamside, lakeside, creekside. People can receive those plants for free, technical assistance on where to plant them, how to plant them. The ports actually receive plants from us and been planted by our crew in the past. We also have a restoration crew that goes out and, in addition to working on the large scale restoration projects, also works on individual landowners' properties. They've helped the port actually in the past remove invasive species from port property and control that, and can certainly do both. We can certainly give plants to the port again in the future and send our crew out to help with things. Not to put any of your stuff out of work though, just to help supplement. So those projects work with hundreds of landowners, and we also are in the process and continue to be in the process of developing more large wood aquatic fish passage, or aquatic species passage, fancy word for culvert replacements. Culverts were fish and other aquatic organisms couldn't get in because there might have been a big jump that they couldn't go back up as they're trying to migrate upstream, or are too small so that the water just comes shooting out of them, replacing those kind of culverts so that they can have all aquatic species passage. Also some intensive riparian work for places. That was about 25 years worth of blackberries right there that was removed, and then there's some fencing work and planting scheduled for this year. So lots of restoration projects, all voluntary and all throughout the watershed, and I'm afraid I probably overran my time, but I'm willing to take questions if you guys can. Oh, one other thing I'd say about weight before it's asked. With the White Ranch Tidal Wetland Restoration Project, the types of channels that are looking to be put in there, are being planned, are different than the types that had the long-term pooling that create mosquito problems elsewhere. I should have blended that in there, but I'll just say that now because that's one of the first questions I usually get. But in, like I said, we have restoration projects throughout the watershed and a number of partnerships, both historically and currently with the port. So, any questions?
Logs. We periodically pull logs out of navigation channel. Size that you guys need? Or?
Well, it depends on the site. It's good to have, and it depends on the site and the project that we have. But let's say at a minimum 18 inches DBH, and gosh, I'm thinking 30 to 40 feet, but even that, you could go a little shorter than that.
Okay.
So, and although we don't have it currently, we do often have funding. I have a grant application in where we have money on hand just to take, for us to pay for the pickup at any time anyone calls of the logs. Right now, because we don't have that grant, it would have to wait until we had an active project.
Yep.
But often we have that grant, and hopefully we'll have it again.
What about stumps?
That too, it would be the same. It would be the same thing with that. Is right now, because we don't have the materials acquisition grant, it would wait until we had an actual project. And in terms of size with stumps, it really is. There's a lot more variability to it because depending on the project, stumps can sometimes be used in different ways than with some bank stabilization and things. It's usually good if they have a bit of a tree on them. But
Well,
that
these will
doesn't
have
mean.
about a 2-foot tree on them.
Yeah. That's.
If we donate them to you?
We can see. There might be something. I'll talk to some of our project partners too, so we can see. I didn't bring a pen up here, so I'm gonna follow up on the logs and stuff. It never hurts to be able to call, and usually I have to look into what projects we have or have one of the project managers look into it just to see the specifics of what we're looking for, the dimensions and where we need them.
Do you have any other questions for Liz?
I'm good.
Just a comment, you got a lot of stuff in there in those few minutes.
Yes, you did.
Thank you.
Very informative.
Thank you.
Thank you
I
very
really
much for
appreciate
coming.
the time.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Come back
Thank you.
anytime.
Thank you. And I'm going to jet, and
Okay.
I'm not sure how you want me to leave this.
Okay, next up on our agenda is approval of minutes. I presume everybody's had a chance to read their minutes of the last meeting.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of Wednesday, May 21st.
Second.
It's been, motion's been made and second. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We did it. Next up is our remarks from the citizens. Do we have anyone that has signed in to talk today?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, we will move on then to the financials. Everybody have a chance to look at the financials?
I move approval of the financials and ratify bills to be paid of $72,189.83. Comment.
Did you second
Second,
that?
I did.
Okay,
I
what's your
did.
comment?
I am really impressed with the campground percentage occupancy and the average occupancy. I believe the numbers are incorrect. I'm not sure if Dina had a chance to look at that, but if you take a look at the 40%, that certainly does not represent the average of that column. So I think that number is perhaps wrong. It should be greater.
Can't trust computers.
And same thing with the percent occupancy. I think that number is falsely low too. But nonetheless, it still shows a positive growth, and I'm looking forward to see what June portends. And then that'll affect our bottom line dramatically. So same thing with the mortgage. We seem to be getting better occupancy. And again, those numbers also are in question. I know it's tricky with Excel, that we need to
Yes, this column isn't adding
constantly.
up, quite honestly.
Yeah, so we have to double check that, but, and then the hiker biker seems to be doing well, and we should see a progressive increase in June and continued
And
improvements.
considering that we spent $2,100 in materials to build it.
You've already recovered your cost, so
Yeah.
that's wonderful. So just like to highlight that each time. It's good progress.
It's nice to have this report.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? At this time, I am going to open a public hearing concerning our budget for 2014 and to 15, as approved by the Port of Siuslaw Commission. And here now, open the public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak about our budget? Yes, sir.
I have just a question. First of all.
Could you identify yourself for the
sorry,
record?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm Harlan Springer, sorry.
Yes.
First of all, I'd like to compliment the port and the work that was done with Peter DeFazio's group and others to get extra dredging out here. So, having said that, it seems increasingly clear that the future of getting increasing effort in dredging and the jetty relies on some political influence of some sort. Okay, so if that's true, then I guess I'm trying to figure out where in the budget are funds for, call it what you want, lobbying, increased travel, that sort of thing. If we think it's important, and I think it is, that we need to have more influence there, how is that funded in the budget?
These are just comments. You should probably not respond.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. We can look into that and let you know.
Thank you. I guess my comment would be, I hope that it is in there. I think
Yeah,
it needs to be
yeah.
in there. That's the comment.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know it's in there, but I'm not sure if we put an increase in there for more of it.
Okay,
Did we?
Yeah.
Bob says we did, and so we probably did.
okay.
Okay, any other discussion on the,
But we don't have discussion in the public hearings.
Just comment.
Then we adjourn the hearing, and then we go into our.
okay?
Yeah.
I will adjourn to close the public hearing then.
Now,
Now,
Bob, do you, Mr. Chair, may I ask?
yes, you may ask something, Bill.
With respect to the money for lobbying, once a year we go back to Washington. The chair and the manager both go back, participating in a group effort. That is part of our budget, that annual Washington DC trip. And we believe that the last one was very successful. As a result, we got some of the dredging money. And previous boards have always been very keen to make this happen every year, even though it's rather a difficult, arduous journey back to Washington. We usually come back with a fistful of money, which helps our port and our people. So I do definitely believe that we need to continue doing that.
And most of the lobbying that goes on is with a couple of different organizations, but the primarily one, as you know, Ron, is the Northwest Waterways Association.
Yes.
Where they have paid lobbyists that live in DC and do this. So through those organizations, our lobbying is we get a whole lot more bang for our buck than if we had just a singular lobbyist.
Right.
And we pay dues to those.
We pay dues to them and
Right.
are involved in all of the
Right.
Salem and Washington negotiations.
Regarding the budget,
Yes.
I would like to go ahead. We have to approve this.
Okay. It's on there.
Resolution number 06-18-14A, a resolution adopting budget, making appropriations and levying taxes. And I'll do that just with the title without reading the entire resolution, if that's acceptable to everyone.
Yes.
Yes, definitely. Is that a
Second.
motion to approve? Nancy, second, okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next up is old business. At our last meeting, we had a comment from the public, from Gary Thorson, who said the port had put a road in the tidelands and had filed a complaint with the Department of State Lands. The Department of State Lands came out, it was Gloria, whatever her name was, Cuyuta, and her boss came out, Eric Metz, and they walked around the estuary and the dredge spoils and did not observe any equipment within their jurisdiction. They did see some piles of Scotch broom which had been placed there by an individual who is attempting to control the invasive vegetation. Since these piles have already been removed by the Port of Siuslaw, and so his statement about the port working in the wetlands was entirely false. There's no sign of it down there whatsoever, of any vehicle traffic or a road. Any other thing from the commissioners on their old business?
And by the way, that volunteer, I think most of it is done by Gene Olson, I think his name is, local gentleman here. Just for your
I thought it was the
edification,
Boy Scouts, wasn't it?
some of those, but Gene gets down there and does a lot of it.
Yeah.
Just so you know, when we hauled it away, we had it recycled, and so we weighed it. So we're talking 5,100 pounds of
Oh, really?
Scotch broom that he's
Well,
pulled
that's-
out of there, so he got a
That's
lot of
good.
exercise.
Good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Is Gene Olson, is that his name really, or
Yes,
is
I
it
believe-
some name that you made up? or-
Yeah, well, I was looking for you because I figured he hangs out at your place.
He does, but I can't come up with a name.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's
Gene Olson.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd hate to
Yeah, no.
give the wrong name,
Yeah,
the
I'm
wrong
pretty sure
credit
it's-
to the person.
Pretty
who
sure it's
deserves
Gene
it.
Olson,
Yeah.
and he does a lot of good work. And
Thank you, Gene.
Yep, and he's notified us recently that, because a lot of us are not familiar with the native invasive plants,
Yeah.
that Japanese
Knotweed is
weed
really bad.
is starting to get out here, so we've contacted OSU. They sent us the information of the stuff that gets rid of it. 2 gallons of concentrate is $581, so the stuff must be like, Soylent Green or something.
Yeah.
But we'll be applying that. They suggest September through October. So
Okay.
we'll be applying that and testing their OSU's product out and see what that works like.
Yeah, there's a lot of it upriver now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can do that near the waterway and that sort of thing?
Yeah, that's why it costs so much. It's called aquatic. It's this long word, this big, and then aquatic habitat, so.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And it doesn't kill your dog or anything?
I didn't say that. Doesn't kill a fish, but take a dog
That's
out.
good, we don't want any fish killed. Okay, under new business, Dina had made some recommendations, and probably with Bob in discussion, to update our agenda a little bit. And it's in your packet, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it. And they, basically, we will call the meeting to order, and then we will have approval of the agenda, so if anybody wants to bring up anything else that isn't on the agenda, we can do it at that time.
Or we can take things off.
Or we can take things off, if we want to put them off for some reason.
Mhm.
And then we'll have approval, then we'll have remarks from the citizens after approval of the minutes. And,
The remonstrance is an opportunity for us commissioners to make a remark back to the citizens or talk
Okay.
about any other thing that is on our mind. So that gives us an opportunity to respond to certain remarks that we probably
Okay.
shouldn't be responding to while they're making the comments. That's
Okay.
called remonstrance.
all right.
Now, it doesn't mean that there's a conversation between the two, it's just
No.
a comment on their
A
comment.
comment afterwards, okay.
Amongst the board members.
Right.
Mhm.
And then next would be our financials, as it is now, then old business, new business, and then whatever reports we might have. Isn't a big change, but we wanted to get board approval before it was done.
On the-
Let everybody know about it.
On the old business one and new business one, that's taken care of in the approval of the agenda.
Yes, I suppose,
That would be where we would do that.
yeah.
I make a motion that we approve the proposed new agenda format.
I second that.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is done.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're at other items by the commission. I have nothing. Terry, have you got anything? Nancy?
I'd just like to make the comment that next month is going to be a presentation by the
Surf rider.
surf riders. And I'm sure it will be equally informative as Liz's was tonight.
Okay.
So that's just an announcement that's going out to the public.
Yes, I'd really like for people to be more aware of these two entities because they do a lot of things for the local area.
And one of the things, Nancy, that you might, that I might mention in regard to that is that they set up a booth over here next to the boat launch quite regularly and do stream cleaning. And they always get a good group of volunteers and always bring in just a lot of trash just off of the riverbed, which is very much appreciated.
Yeah,
They do good work. They do
These
good work.
groups, they are very good, and I would like people to be more aware of the issues that they present. And
Sure.
because they are trying to clean up and take care of this water.
Yeah, you bet. I appreciate you mentioning that. Yeah.
So if I may reiterate, the surf riders will give a presentation at next month's board meeting at
Right.
7 o'clock. They'll be the first one up. And all public are invited. So, perfect.
Bill, have you got anything?
That was it.
That's it? Jay?
Well, I'd like to say that the surf riders are coming.
That's good.
Good job, good job.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, I'm good, thanks.
You're good?
Yeah.
Any reports from the manager?
We've got several things going on. I sent you emails
Right.
on updates. Some of the, we graded and compacted the new outside storage area today, and we'll be laying aggregate tomorrow, so it'll be all ready to go here in a few days to start putting in the outside storage areas. So that'll work out real well. We've got, we continue working on our policies and ordinances with our legal group. We've gone through and updated some of them ourselves, or at least redlined them, sent them off to John Wolf and that group, and we're starting to get feedback with them. So we'll get some of these things that haven't been touched in 20 years a little more up to date with what's going on. some of the projects that we talked about in executive session last month will be in executive session this next month because they're coming to fruition, so you can look forward to that. We've talked about the invasive weeds. September will be our big day for that type of thing. And just really primarily gearing up because we're getting busier right now than, we normally don't get busy until July, and we were busy last month and getting busier this month, so it's looks like it's going to be another good year. I mean, it's extremely interesting. We do have we got the foul weather in, the Cape foul weather in, and getting her set up. We just entered into conversations with another liveaboard that's coming in. Should be an interesting boat. We'll take a look at it when it gets here and inspect it, do our visual inspection. But it's a Coast Guard inspected vessel, 96-foot tug that's been converted into a liveaboard. We'll put it at the end of Sea Row, out at the end into the sea, and so we'll take a look at that boat when it gets in. But from all the pictures and descriptions, should be another interesting boat to have in our harbor, in our marina. So we've got a lot of interest in the marina as it goes through right now. So I think we've got. Wish we were a little couple weeks ahead on the outside storage in that area, but getting people in and getting people to work when it's nice weather is kind of tough sometimes. So. But it's going along real well.
Does that get fenced?
No, the reason we're bringing it over here is so we don't have to fence it. It's visual. It's right in front of everybody. It'll be kept nice and clean, and everybody gets to. It'll be, and we'll have cameras on it. So
Okay.
that's one reason we're bringing it out of the back.
Speaking of outside storage, I have to say compliments to the staff for a wonderful job of cleaning that up. I recommend, if you haven't already wandered through the campground and out to the east side, do so. It just looks marvelous, nice, clean, tidy. I think the entire park is just looking exceptionally well. And again, my compliments to the staff.
Thank you.
Good
They
job.
do a really good job.
Yeah.
I have no report, but looking at your list there, I really feel that second bathroom is a high priority, and the
Absolutely.
sooner we can get started on it, the better.
We're about halfway there financially.
Good. Well, we'll see if we can find a pot of gold somewhere and get it going. We really need it badly. Other than that, I have nothing else.
And Commissioner Rickard.
I have a question that
Yes.
I would like to get addressed, and I could have just come in and asked you, Bob. But if people in the public want to come in here and go clamming off the end of our, the port property, on that free day of clamming, I walked out there just to see what was there. It was not a low tide, so I have no idea where or what the clams are there. And I would like to do it again, but not this week. And is that something that I can present to the public? I mean,
Sure. They
okay,
climb off the
so
end of there all the
They
time.
come and they pay to park here at the
$2.
office, and then they can go out there
Yep.
and, cause it's a really nice
Certainly.
trail to go down there now.
Now there's a nice trail off, got it away from the bank and put it a little further over, but it makes it an easy, you don't have to climb.
Yes,
Right. So,
yeah, cause it was a good walk, except it just wasn't a low tide and I didn't get very far out.
yes, but absolutely, they're more than welcome to do so, yes.
That's good.
And they do.
Yeah.
They do. They park over here, they park over there. and
Now, I don't see people clamming out here very often.
They
I don't
do.
either.
I watch them pack their
Do you?
buckets back. Yeah, yeah.
And are they getting nice sized clams?
Yes, they are. And they're also going just across the
Yeah,
other side
across
and
I
getting
know.
some too.
Yeah, across I know.
But yeah, they are getting
Yeah.
clams up here.
That's great.
Yeah, cause
We had a couple just about a week ago, I think, that came out with a lot of good-sized clams, and they said it was the first time that
And
they
they were
got
here?
some right off the point, instead of going across to the islands. Not being familiar with, but they
Yeah,
seem
'cause-
to be really excited that there were clams.
And we've had
there.
some exceptional low tides, and we've
Yeah,
got
very
some more
good.
coming next in the 24th, 25th, I believe, some really nice
But yeah, absolutely.
early morning low tides, which should be great for both the soft shells and the razor clams.
yeah, I plan to try it and then,
Yeah.
and let the public know
Yeah.
more.
No, they got nice clams today,
Because I like to dig clams.
yesterday,
I'm,
sorry.
I'm wondering whether catch is the right word versus find.
No, these are easy.
Oh, are they?
You know,
Dig.
you find the
Dig is the
hole,
word.
you
Yeah, not
find the
catch.
hole,
Not a
and,
catch.
and they're easy. I don't know how deep they are here.
Yeah, they don't-
Catch
they
razor
don't move.
clams.
Yeah,
You catch razor
Yeah.
clams.
Yeah.
Razor clams, you work fast.
yeah.
Hearing no more business, I'm going to adjourn the meeting at 7:42. Thank you all for coming.
Good job.
Thank
Yeah.
you.